Hi and welcome back. In this video we are going to continue this application and we'll add the remove and report thread endpoints as well. And before we do that, I just want to go through why stuff didn't work in the last video. And it turns out that when you have an env file where you store a connection to the database, the connection string actually has to be the right string. And it wasn't, and that's why it didn't work. So I corrected that, and with that we can actually go into this one, right, and stop the application like so. And in here we can create a board that's called video board, and we can have a thread to create video board, and to delete that we can have video board. And the good thing with this is that apart from actually creating the board, I hope we do. Just looking if anyway. Did I change something? Hope not. I don't think I did. Huh. Okay. Let's do this. Actually, let's have a look here. It's a good way to see if anything happened. Yeah, okay. Got the thread, do we get the board? We got the board as well. Okay. We should be able to go to /b/video board. Yeah, right. So we just didn't get redirected for some reason. Okay. Wonder why. Well, anyway, it works. We get this board. We get the thread here as well. The undefined here, I believe, is messages actually. We can actually try that. If we go back here and we go for a new post to the board, video board with the thread ID, this is a bit iffy as well, because you need to know the thread ID to be able to post a message. So we'll go to threads. And obviously this is not a good way of doing stuff, and this is just for learning purposes, but it is a bit annoying to be able to post message to a thread. You need to know the thread ID, and this should probably be message text. Anyway, so here we can write like test message or something. So, and message, post that. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, we get an error, data for each function. Okay, this is a bit of an iffy error to get, because this is not on us, this is on FreeCodeCamp. So if we go to the views and the thread, I believe, for each there, okay, let's just see if we got the message at all. Yes, we created the message, and in the threads we should have a, no, actually there we do, yeah. So we actually have this message as well, which is, it means that this works, but something along the road is not working properly, and it may actually not be our code even. Anyway, that's not what we're supposed to do in this video. We were supposed to go here, and we actually need to uncomment these. So, and we also have in API there. We need to get rid of those, so we can actually get stuff here, and get rid of that semicolon, and then we should be able to go into these ones. And when we do that, we can actually use stuff that we already have done. So if we go to add thread, we need to have this part inside of remove thread. We will also need the object ID for this. So const object ID is going to be require MongoDB dot object ID small d. So, and then we just change this to remove thread, and we are connecting to Mono client. We need to have so and so, and here we don't need the board. That's not important. We just need the thread, and we are gonna need to go ahead and go for thread.find one, because we want to find the thread that we're gonna delete, and we want to find it by the ID of object ID with the rec.body.thread ID. Remember, we're looking for the ID of the thread, but we still need the password to delete it. So we need to double check really to see if we find the right stuff. So, and if we get an error, as usual, we just deal with that. So error will be error while retrieving thread, I think. So, and then we can just print error as well. So, and if we don't get an error there, we can go for an if result of delete password is equal to rec.body.delete password. Then we go for thread.delete one, where the ID is the object ID with rec.body.thread ID. So, and then we just print results and success, reply with that, and client.close. But if this password is wrong, then we can't delete the thread. So we just say press.send incorrect password and client.close. So that's for removing a thread. If we want to report a thread, then we do sort of the same thing. So we can actually go in here, we copy this, go in here, we change name on this to report thread, and we still need just one of these. We need to find one, but instead of finding one, we need to find one and update. And we still find it by the ID. That's fine, but we can actually get rid of a lot of this stuff. So we don't need that, and we don't need the if statement at all. So there we go. We need this one, right? Because we need to check the error. I think, do we actually need to do that? I mean, good practice, but we don't really need to do that. Let's give it. Anyway, what we want to do is that we want to find one update, right? So we want to find it by the, not the thread ID, but the report ID. And we do that because if we go into views and thread and we go to let's see. There. Is this the right one? Well, it's called that anyway. So that's why we're doing that. If we were to console log this, we would get the report ID that we're looking for. What we need to do here though is that we need to use this and do so and create another object here, because here we want to set reported, if I can spell that, reported true. So like with messages, we just update this. And there we need a comma. So, and here we have error and a result. And again, we don't have to care about the result. If we want to check that, you can. But what we care about is if we get an error or not. And if this succeeds, we just success. And unlike with removing, we don't have to check for password or anything. You cannot just straight up report a thread. Nothing actually happens with. We don't delete it or anything. We just change the status to reported. And with that, we may actually be able to go for an npm start here. And I should be able to go ahead and get the ID of this one. I think this is thread, yeah. But can get this ID, and from that ID, I should. Oops, this is interesting. Ah. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that, I think. So board is going to be the board, you know that. The thread ID, not that. This is the ID to delete. So, no wait, this is the message. Never mind. Here is the thread. So video board, and the ID to delete is going to be that one, and the password is going to be video board. So if I submit that, I actually get the success there. And I think that we get an alert, because I think they have that here actually. Let's have a look. It should be here. Alert. Yeah. And so if we report something here, you can see that we have a success here, and then we get an alert there. So that's why we actually see that. And again, this is not our code. We can change it, obviously. We don't need to show an alert there, but let's keep that. I just wanted to show why it showed. And with that, we should also be able to go here and refresh this, and that message should be gone. That thread even should be gone. Yeah. So that actually works. And that's gonna be it for this video. So that's 5 out of 6. We have one more. So technically this application works. It's a bit iffy, but it sort of works. What's left is making sure that tests works. And we don't have any tests, so we need to write those. And we're gonna do that in the next video. So see you then. Bye.